My dad wanted to see another film of my printer working, so I thought I'd film what I'm printing at the moment. As you can see, the printer's busy working away. This is actually something I found online, which was it's called a 3D printed jet engine that actually runs. It's a little bit of a misnomer. The whole engine isn't 3D printed. The compressor wheel and the compressor housing and stator vanes are 3D printed, and some of the other parts of the engine, and also the mold that you use to make the engine casing and the exhaust guide vanes is 3D printed, and you then fill it with refractory cement. It's quite an interesting project. I found it online, and I saw there are films of it on YouTube of it working. I can put links in there to those. And of course, I used to play with jet engines years and years ago. About 15 years ago, I built my own from an old turbocharger. And I made the fatal mistake of reading some of the YouTube comments. And there was a comment there from some woman saying, "Oh, this is all a scam and he's just trying to get your money." And she basically said, "Oh, I'm a software engineer and I think you're being ripped off." I don't know what being a software engineer has to do with it, but I actually had a look at what the guy's done and ended up buying his ebook, which cost me about $20 New Zealand, which is almost, not worth worrying about. And it's very interesting, and I think it actually would work from what he's done. And the 3D printing files you can get for free. You can just download them off his website. So if you want to have a look, you should check it out. I started printing it. I printed the compressor wheel here. You can see it's a radial compressor wheel. It's very much in the same style as a vacuum cleaner motor blower. So what I'm printing down there is the housing that this runs in, which has the guide vanes to direct the air from that into the combustion chamber. Now, I actually started printing this quite a number of nights ago. This is actually the longest print I've ever done. And I started it printing, was having a bit of trouble getting it started because of the support material and issues like that. I finally had a good print going, and I left it going overnight. And this was 2 nights ago, which was the night that we had the earthquake here in New Zealand. And so just after midnight, a couple of minutes after midnight, the whole house started shaking and things started falling off shelves, and luckily these shelves were all bolted to the walls, so not too much fell down, but various bits and pieces fell down. The printer actually kept going through all this, and then stopped because the webcam I've got here to keep an eye on it actually fell down into the mechanism and jammed the printer. So after the earthquake stopped, I went around, had it tidy up, and I stopped the print. And since there was no way I was going to go back to sleep then, I restarted the print. So that was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning a couple of nights ago. So it's 8 o'clock now. So this has been running 40 odd hours, I think, to print this thing out. And I do have it running at about half speed because I want the print to be accurate. So it's up to now, you check over here on the display, which you may not be able to see, but it's 88.2% done. So it's got a little bit to go. I was actually getting worried that I was going to run out of filament. So the filament is, of course, what it's printing. It's this plastic here that gets pulled up by this motor, pushed down this tube into what's called the hot end, which extrudes the plastic. Because this print is taking so long, and it's actually quite a big piece, I was worried that I was going to run out of filament before the end, which would be a bit of a disaster, but I think I've got enough there. This filament I actually found online. My friend Mike put me onto it. You can buy it on eBay, and it's one roll of filament that is actually split into 2, so you get 2 colours on one reel, which is quite a good way of buying it if you just want to build up a library of colours. You can sort of see here the printer as it's working. This is the y-axis going backwards and forwards. and then the x-axis is the crossways, and the z is the up and down here. But you can see what it's printing isn't actually solid. The walls are solid, the outside, and the inside is kind of hollow. It's like a crosshatch pattern, so it isn't a whole solid piece of plastic, but it is quite strong. So, like I say, this has got quite a bit more to go. So this has been running continuously now for, like I say, more than 40 hours. It's probably got a few more to go. And it's just been running fine. I just leave it running. It's quite safe to leave it running overnight and when I'm at work. Like I say, I have the webcam on it so I can actually check on it and see what it's doing. I don't know what use that is, because if anything goes wrong I'd have to run home to stop it or something, but it's good to see how it's getting on and make sure it's actually still working. We have been having aftershocks here, so every so often everything starts shaking around. But it doesn't seem to upset the printer. It's worked amazingly well. It just keeps going. One of the changes I did fairly recently was I shifted it off that sort of rickety table there and put it onto my computer desk, which is a lot more solid. And I also mounted put some rubber feet under the bottom of it. These are actually, they're called caster cups. They're sort of little rubber cups that you put underneath the feet of furniture to stop them moving, but they make quite good big rubber feet if you drill a hole through them and then bolt them in place. So, like I say, this is the compressor wheel that runs inside there. The whole engine looks like it would work. It's quite a bit of work to do it. There's quite a number of steps and different bits and pieces you have to build. But I'm quite keen to give it a go. I'll see how I get on. The good thing is one of my colleagues at work is very into jet engines and is basically looking at setting up his own production line for model turbine jet engines. So I think he's quite interested to see how I go as well. But I'll leave that going for now. Probably won't finish until sometime in the middle of the night, and we'll see how it comes out.